Yo, what's good? Man, been a minute. Figure since we got a bad week, get on here and talk about some Michigan football. It's been a long year. It's been a season that we'll never forget. We will never forget this year. I don't think nobody saw this coming. Um, very disappointing. You know, very disappointing. So I know I ain't the only one up here. Like I said, we got a bad week. Not the season we was expecting. It seemed like just last year we was the national champs. It's crazy to think, shit, how fast time went these last 3 years, boy. You know, being a Michigan fan from like 2003 to like 2016, the way I always looked at Michigan as a football team was who on this motherfucking team can play for Ohio State? That's how I was always judging the success off of Michigan. That's how I kind of felt like determined, all right, where are we going to head this season? How's it going to look? And I did not expect it to look like this shit. You know, from when Rich Rodriguez took over, I remember it was so crazy. Players were just leaving. I remember Ryan Mallett, who was one of my favorite fucking quarterbacks to come through the program. And the way that shit ended when he transferred, I remember like it was like a bad time for me as a Michigan fan. Like when Ryan Mallett transferred, I knew it was finna get bad. Like you saw the shit getting bad. Like, damn, we losing all this talent. And then once your quarterback leave, is like, damn. Rich Rod came with this spread option mentality. He was the hot coach at the time. And West Virginia was like Oregon back then. They were the young, oncoming team, new style of offense, and their era was something else. And when Rich Rod came, it was like All right, let's see where he's at by year 3. Let's see where he's at by year 3. And clearly he wasn't a Michigan man. And clearly he didn't make it to year 3, I believe. And then the Brady Hoke came. And you remember, well, it can't get no worse than fucking Rich Rod. We just came off winning a Sugar Bowl against Virginia Tech. And that was Denard Robinson senior year, and he got hurt. And that's the season we opened up against Bama. And shit got bad, and we never really recovered from the Rich Rodriguez era or the Brady Hoke era. So, in come Jim Harbaugh. And I remember Jabril Peppers was a Brady Hoke recruit, basically my favorite player in the last 20 years. I remember that 2014 team with Jabril Peppers and those couple players on that team where it was like, all right, we finished up, but Jim Harbaugh's a proven winner. So the bad seasons we had with Jim Harbaugh, it was always hope at the end of the tunnel. It was always hope at the end of a tunnel. He came around the 2015 year, caught a lot of people off guard. Started off the season, I believe, 9-0. Started off the season 9-0. And then the Iowa game happened. I believe that was 2015 or 2016. The Iowa game happened. Then in Ohio, the Ezekiel Elliott game happened. And it's crazy that, you know, we look at Jim Harbaugh. He was already a Michigan legend as a player. But to think that at one time, me, myself included, wanted this man gone. When Jim Harbaugh first came back 2014, it felt like no matter how the season went, it was always a chance with Jim Harbaugh. It was always a chance. And that was the thing about Jim Harbaugh. And then the COVID year happened. And we're basically in the same spot as LSU is right now with fucking their coach, Skip Brian Kelly. Where when you have a quarterback like Bryce Underwood committed to your school, you can't fire that guy. And the reason I bring that up is because I remember when JJ committed to Michigan. And one thing about Jim Harbaugh's team is he's just a quarterback away. He's just a quarterback away. So not only is he's already an established coach, but now you have a commitment in JJ McCarty where it's like, we only needed a quarterback. Now we have an elite quarterback coming. If JJ's not coming to Michigan, Harbaugh is fired 2020. If JJ do not commit to Michigan, Harbaugh is fired after the 2020 season. And so now we're in a situation where Jim Harbaugh stays around just because he's a Michigan man and he had this quarterback coming in J.J. McCarthy. And so Michigan does the ultimate disrespect. We're not going to fire you. We're going to cut your pay. Now let's be real for 1 second. Jim Harbaugh didn't need Michigan. Jim Harbaugh was going to find a job regardless wherever he went. Wherever, if he wanted to stay in the NFL, if he wanted to go back to college, he was going to be straight. He was going to be straight. So he took a chance because history shows, probably Steve Spurrier, I can think of off the top of my head, there ain't too many former players came back to their alma mater and took him to a chip or even had some type of success. So Harbaugh didn't need Michigan. He won at Stanford. He won down there every year in the NFL. Just took his team to the Super Bowl. Came from within a play of winning the Super Bowl. And he come back and saves the program. Because let's be honest, if Jim Harbaugh don't come back, it would have been some bad years. So he comes back, and we do the ultimate thing by disrespecting him and making him take a pay cut. A coach that didn't have to come back comes back, had a couple successful years, but just couldn't beat Ohio. And you're embarrassing him by cutting his pay. So in comes JJ. That was Harbaugh's trump card. He has JJ McCarthy. Bam. He get Donovan Edwards to come over with him. Aiden Hutchinson comes back. Harbaugh have a successful year and beat Ohio. So Harbaugh beats Ohio, builds a program, and wins a national championship. So that brings me to a question I feel like we all want to ask. What happened to Michigan football? What happened to Michigan football? And I think we can't just place all the blame on Sherrod Moore because it got ugly with the Jim Harbaugh situation back in 2020. It got very ugly. Jim Harbaugh didn't need Michigan. Michigan needed Jim Harbaugh. Successful NFL coach, turned Stanford around. What other coach you know gonna take a pay cut with that type of resume? So he stuck around, won a national championship. And unlike the Jim Harbaugh era, unlike the Brady Hoax era, unlike the Rich Rod era, Sherrod Moore was left with a team that was capable of winning a national championship. This is not like the 2020 LSU team where the whole team went into the league and they barely had any talent. This team had every bit of 4 first-round picks. Long as the injury's not serious, Will Johnson, Mason Graham guaranteed to be top 10 picks. Then you throw in Colston Loveland, how he finished the season, can easily sneak into a first-round pick. And then Kenneth Grant and Josiah Stewart, you roll the dice. You have Donovan Edwards. He left this guy with a team that you cannot think of another coach outside of somebody like Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma who was left this type of talent on the team. And then to look this bad. You know, we give Coach Sherrod Moore all the credit for what he did last year. But last year, even though Jim Harbaugh was suspended, he still was at the facility. He still was at those practices. So now we in a situation what now? What now? Do we go back to the old days where it was like we just hope Ohio don't win? Because that's how it was for a long fucking time. By the time week 5 came around, you was just hoping, fuck it. Just don't let Ohio win. Now we come into a season where not only do we have the hype, because people always say, well, Michigan, big name, they always going to come in ranked no matter what. So not only do we have the hype, but we have the talent. And to come out looking like this, I can't think of another year I was ever like I say, normally you knew. Harbaugh had a couple years where we didn't get let down to the Ohio game. But to have this type of team, man, Ahadi, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like Miles Hidden balled. Like Miles Hidden really surprised me at left tackle. Didn't look that bad. Didn't look that bad at all. The left guard, Didn't look that bad. This center was a real concern this year. Right guard, Ahadi was real fucking disappointing. I know I'm not saying his name right, but the right guard was real disappointing. Right tackle was disappointing as well. We started off with Link. I mean Link. We started off with him. He struggled. We put Gentry in. He had an all right, some all right performances. Didn't do that much better. He gets hurt. We bring Link in, and this offensive line. This is not an offensive line that's just for the freshmen and sophomores. This is an offensive line for the fucking red shirt seniors and graduates. This is an offensive line for the grown man. If Jim Harbaugh has this team, this may be a one-loss team. Texas and Oregon, take a pick. Maybe a one-loss team. But the communication, that's things that you cannot have as a team this age. Ain't too many young players on this team. Ain't too many young players on this team. So that's the disappointing part of this whole situation. This team was talented as fuck. And with this era NIL, Michigan was known for building teams. We were a building team. Now, because we seem to be in a race right now. We're putting all our A's in Bryce Underwood. And LSU in the same boat. Where how can you try to put all this money into a player where you don't even know if the coach is going to come back? You don't even know if the coach is going to come back. There's no ties. There's no recruits. There's no recruits. They're going to keep a coach around right now. I felt if Sherrod Moore makes a decision, a decision on offensive coordinator before the Ohio game, maybe they could have changed it. But I don't see Bryce Underwood making that change. And even right now, like I say, early commitments is a waste of time right now. You got some people still get excited about it, for Michigan's a top 10 recruiting right now. That shit don't mean nothing. These kids just be scared to hurt motherfuckers' feelings. And so every time they go visit somebody, they just say, yeah, I'm committed. But I don't know if Shemar Moore is going to play the loyalty card and stick with his guns with Kurt Campbell and Wink Mendale. But unlike Jim Harbaugh, I don't think he has the time. I don't think he has the time. He maybe
dropped a hamster in the mixer. Actually,
maybe got 1 or 2 years. Fuck, man. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. Yeah. I did not see this happening. Five and 5 is crazy. That's just fucking insane. 5 and 5 is something I did not see happening, man. And it don't feel good at all. It's like, because the future's not, it ain't like we got some young offensive coordinator. Like, we don't have a play over 40 yards as far as in the passing game. And I just don't see Sherrod Morris having the guts to make any changes. He just don't seem like the coach. Sherrod Morris seems like a great stepdad. And now we got the thing coming out with Khalil Mullins, where I'm pretty sure everybody was wondering the same fucking thing. Why the fuck Khalil Mullins not even starting? And then I'm glad Benjamin Hall got snaps, but he's supposed to get Donovan Edwards snaps, not Khalil Mullins. Maybe because it was some reports that Khalil Mullins was seen on video allegedly stumping on a Michigan State player, but who gives a fuck? This dude go from 500-600 yards first 6 game of the season, and we still forcing it to Donovan Edwards. I can't think of one time this year Sherrod Moore made a decision where it's like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, you look at somebody like Davis Warren, and I know Michigan has the image of quarterback killer. That shit, you see Davis Warren, like, he's not looking that bad. Why the fuck did he get benched for Alex Orji and Jake Tuttle in the first place? Like, you had all preseason, bro. You watched this shit through the transfer portal. Like, they said the freshman was already agreed upon that he's not going to be playing this year. And you sat there like, man, shit, I'm not worried. Fuck it. We'll just do the same thing we did last year. You go the first drive of the Oregon game, when everybody see the replays clearly, the ball hit the ground. You don't challenge it. Like, it's not one time you see him in a headset cussing out it's like he just cussing out his coordinators and not saying shit to the refs. It's like, dude, you don't challenge that. But then you challenge these weird ass plays where it was clearly a fumble by Alex Orji, and you challenge it, maybe trying to get a targeting call. And it's like, what the fuck is this dude doing, man? Like, damn, bro. Like, this shit is horrible. This shit is horrible. I can't think of, outside of Lincoln Riley, I can't think of too many coaches came into a better situation. First year coach. You have every bit of 4 first rounders. And we looking at a 5-5. We probably shouldn't even be 5-5. That's the crazy part about the shit. We lucky to be 5-5. It's like, damn. Now we got to go back to hoping Ohio don't win again. So I think they give Sherrod Moore another year, depending on how the Ohio State game goes. Depending on that outcome. Because he win that fucking game, hell yeah, bring him back. Give him a raise. Shit. But to say that it's a waste of a season, fuck yeah. Because one thing about since 2020, you saw young players like, all right, Aiden Hutchinson coming back. All right, we got these people coming back. I can't think of a player coming back next year outside of if Derek Moore comes back that where we can look at it and say we're going to be good. And Michigan plays Oklahoma next year, which I live in Oklahoma. I'm going to be at that game. And the last thing I want to see is some bullshit like I'm seeing now. Because now you have all these boosters coming into play where their voice is going to matter now. And if you somebody like Bryce Underwood, do you want to play for Kirk Campbell? You know, LSU in the same situation. LSU in the same situation because they don't know if Brian Kelly's going to come back. But the early commitment shit, it really don't matter no more. It really don't matter because, like I say, these kids they scared to tell motherfuckers no. They go visit these schools and like, yeah, I'm coming. They don't give a fuck until fall time comes around. But this season is a completely waste of a season. I can't think of another season like this. I can't think of another fucking season. Maybe the 2007 season where we lost to Appalachian State in Oregon again. But I can't think of it. Those 2 seasons, the only season where I can remember where we came into the season with that much talent and we looked that bad. We looked bad. I'm talking about we can't think of a fucking passing play for more than 40 yards. I don't think it was this bad with the Joe Milton era. Shit, the Tate Forcier. Cause we could score back then. We just couldn't stop nobody. But for this shit to be, oh my God. Damn, Mason Graham. Mason Graham is a fucking beast, bro. And we completely wasted that, man. Kenneth Grant, bro. Will fucking bro. I said it a couple weeks ago. Business decisions going to be made. I think a couple players are going to play for pride. A couple players still want to beat Ohio. But we're in an era now where, like I said, like Mason Graham is guaranteed first round. Will Johnson, unless it's something severe, is still probably guaranteed first round. Colston Loveland, maybe top 2 tight end in the nation. Josiah Stewart, depending on how the season goes, maybe can sneak into the second round. Kenneth Grant, man. The shit went by so fast. It's like, where the fuck do we even start? We're like, damn, we finna play these niggas already. We so horrible. Indiana ain't even rushed the field. They like, yeah, like, damn. Fans don't even care about beating us no more. So Sherrod Moore should have made a change. He didn't. Clearly, Kirk Campbell is not ready to be an offensive coordinator. And Sherrod Moore really underestimated the seriousness it takes to be a head coach. Because to have somebody like Khalil Mullins, who has waited his turn and basically won this team 5 games. Khalil Mullins won this team 5 games. And he don't get no carries for real in the first half. We got Donovan Edwards just looking horrible. Horrible. I remember Donovan Edwards' freshman year when he had those 10 catches against Maryland. I remember thinking, like, this dude is going to be special. Like, this dude is a beast. He can catch. Man, we got a running back that can play at any college. That's how good it felt to have somebody like Donovan Edwards. We got a running back that can play at any, like, he can play at any school. And now we got him out here. It just looks sloppy. You watch it, it's like sometimes it look like they're running into each other. It just don't look smooth. And so this is the biggest waste of season since the 2007 season. By far. Because damn, we have some fucking talent on this team, man. And I'm very concerned going into the next year that this is only get worse from here. Like, I'm excited as hell because, like I say, Michigan plays OU next year. I got a 71 Chevy. I plan on having it painted Michigan blue by the time the game comes around. And I will drive it down to Norman to OU Stadium. But I don't think we would never, like, not in the next couple of years. Maybe if we somehow can creep in and get Bryce Underwood which can get a couple players to come in the transfer portal. Maybe. But we're not going to see a Michigan team this deep in a while, probably. Because this team was stacked. I know a lot of fans were saying, well, this rebuilding season, we had a lot of people going to draft. Like, no. This team was talented as shit. This is 100% on coaching. Because them boys ain't give up. That defense hasn't given up. The players hasn't given up. This is completely on coaching. Nobody has an answer. Nobody. You go back to the Penn State game and you like, well, Sherrod Moore, that's when I started calling him Big Nut Sherrod Moore, because you got to have some big balls to run the ball 30-some straight times at Happy Valley and beat Penn State. But Jim Harbaugh was still running those practices. Jim Harbaugh was still making a decision who's going to be at what position. Jim Harbaugh was still saying who's going to get what reps. You take that away, and you looking at somebody like Donovan Edwards. Like I say, Donovan Edwards was a star when Sherrod Moore was just an assistant's assistant. Sherrod Moore wasn't even an offensive coordinator. So you got somebody like a Donovan Edwards, who was a big-time recruit, had success as a freshman, who came back on his terms, and you got a coach that was an assistant when Donovan Edwards came, and you expecting this guy to tell Donovan Edwards, you're not getting any snaps. That's a hard fucking decision for anybody to make. But that's a decision you gotta fucking make. You gotta make, because it's clearly now you have turmoil. Now you have locker room turmoil. Because most of us played football. Most of us played sports before. So it ain't just the fans looking at this shit like, hey, why the fuck Khalil Mullins not getting 20 to 25 snaps a game? It got to be explained. If it's some disciplinary reasons, at least say that. But he's looking like a Michigan running back the first 7-8 weeks of the season. And we keep taking his momentum away, back putting Donovan Edwards in. We do the same thing with fucking Davis Warren. He do good. Then we keep putting Alex Orji in. Inside the 10-yard line, I can't recall how many times on third down we put Alex Orji in. It's like, we're not finna do that. It got to be, every time he run out, you're like, all right, maybe he finna do the Tim Tebow pass. The first game of the season, they did the Donovan Edwards pass. But it's like, this shit, I can call these plays. the shit Kurt Campbell coming up with, I feel like I can go on Madden right now and call it better plays. This shit is horrible. It's like, you know, in the past it was with Michigan's a run first team. We were never like Iowa, where it was Michigan is an only run team. Like, damn. We fell off like that. We at least had play action with the tight ends. Now we just, what a fucking waste of season, man. This one hurts. This one hurts for the simple fact I wasn't ready for that right now. That wasn't supposed to come this early. You know, we supposed to won a chip last year. Come back, compete for a chip this year. Maybe go back to back, and then see where it goes. But to have this shit right here where we're 5-5. 5-5 and praying these motherfuckers don't blow us out at the end of the season. That's the only thing we got to live for. Because if Northwestern beat us, shit. If Northwestern beat us, that's a bad day. That's going to be a bad day. That's going to be a bad day for real. Fuck, man. 5-5, bro. We had all this fucking talent. All this fucking talent. And we're 5-5. Fuck. Linebacker core. Rashard Barham came on at the end of the season. I will say that. Barham definitely came on at the end of the season. Defense, man, overall defense didn't look bad. Overall defense didn't look bad. Offense was horrible. Horrible. Offense was horrible. Like I say, this is definitely 08 offense. This is definitely 2008 bad. This is Michael Jackson bad. So definitely a waste of a season because there ain't too many coaches getting this talent. Like I say, Steve Sarkisian had to build Texas up. Texas got crazy NIL money. Alabama's new coach. if I had to figure, I know they got Jalen Monroe. I still would have assumed that Michigan would be better than Bama. But I didn't think we was gonna look this damn bad. That's what I'm gonna think of every time I think we Michael Jackson bad. I'm gonna look more into the Khalil Mullins situation because there's something there. It's definitely something there. Because clearly, Khalil Mullins has been our best player in the backfield all year. And to come out and be third on the depth chart, I felt that Benjamin Hall should have been getting more snaps. But those is more over Donovan Edwards. Well, to be honest, I don't see us being a 5-win team without Khalil Mullins. I don't see us being and it's not the talent, because Michigan has the talent on offense. Michigan has the talent on offense. Now we got the Jaden Davis situation. It came down between us and Clemson. I think Clemson have their quarterback. Maybe Jaden Davis, goddamn. Maybe Jaden Davis just don't fit Sherrod Moore's system. That was Jim Harbaugh's quarterback. Jaden Davis was Jim Harbaugh's quarterback. So you're not going to throw $5 million at a freshman or a high school kid and expect the quarterback on your team to still be on that team next year. Because I'm pretty sure Jaden Davis is not getting $1 million. Just like J.J. McCarty, Jaden Davis was a top 10 quarterback. And I guarantee you, his NIL ain't over $1 million. And you finna say you finna throw $5 million at a freshman or a high school kid to come there? Jaden Davis gone. So if we don't get Bryce Underwood, shit gonna be crazy. Shit gonna be crazy because you look at this Michigan team right now. Maybe Jordan Marshall, he was doing some kick returns. He's just Mr. Ohio running back. You say, well, if he can convince Jaden Davis to stay, along with Marlon Klein and Samaj Morgan, and a couple young offensive linemen. Maybe Greg Crippen can come back another year. You get Gentry back. Link could get better. Maybe you can have some potential in the future, but that's because I don't see people want to play for Kirk Campbell. And I don't think Sherrod Moore is establishing himself as a prominent figure as a head coach to where you're going to want to play for this guy. Because it's not just the fans who's looking at this like and wondering why the fuck Khalil Mullins is not getting snaps. Why is we still forcing Donovan Edwards the ball? If Donovan Edwards was at Ohio, he would be an All-American right now. But it's looking sloppy as shit right now. And now we got athletes who has potential looking like bums. We got Donovan Edwards looking like a free agent pickup, maybe next year. If Donovan Edwards left after the championship game, he maybe was a fourth rounder. I think a team would have, depending on how his combine went, depending on if he can run the catch the ball, which we know he can catch at Michigan, he could have possibly been a fourth round pick. But after this year, he maybe want to see can he get a COVID year and get some NIL money. Because this shit is horrible. This shit is horrible. I haven't saw him break a tackle all season. I haven't saw Donovan Edwards break a tackle in 2 years. And you get somebody like Khalil Mullins, who basically won this team 5 games himself, and he gets no snaps. This dude wasn't ready. People could say, well, Jim Harbaugh don't give a fuck. After Michigan stuck that meeting, Jim Harbaugh 2020, shit. Do you see Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines at the Charger games? I get jealous. He look happy as shit. God damn, I miss Harbaugh. Harbaugh looked happy as a motherfucker in the NFL. And Michigan embarrassed that motherfucker and made him take a pay cut. Think about it. Think of all the head coaches you can think of in the last 20 years. How many coaches you can say had success in college and in the pros? Like I said earlier, Jim Harbaugh didn't need Michigan. Michigan needed Jim Harbaugh. And when he left, I don't think he really gave a fuck. I'm gonna be real. I don't think he really gave a fuck. Like, man, because he could not, maybe they should have made I don't know, but Sherrod Moore's not it. Fuck it. That's what it all comes down to. Sherrod Moore's not it. Um, Winkman option we have on this coaching staff. It hasn't been the best, but he hasn't been getting any help from the offense at all season. So a wasted season has been, it's not over yet. It's not. Them bitch ass fuck ass, boy, they waiting on this shit. They waiting on this. So hopefully, hopefully we got some players that really just say they want to beat Ohio, so they're going to stick around. But just how, some Ohio players had to make decisions when they played us, a couple of their first round picks, I won't the game don't matter to the players how it used to. It's a business. And you talking about big money on the line. So, like I say, Mason Graham, shit, Kenneth Grant, Jasiah Stewart, Colston Loveland, Donovan Edwards. Man, shit. It's been a pleasure. It's Will motherfucking Johnson, Rob motherfucking Moore. Damn, it sucked that nigga got hurt, boy. Whew. I'm gonna have to think about this because this team was too damn good. I'm gonna have to do a video on how good this team, just comparing them to Michigan teams of the past, because this team was stacked, man. So we'll see, man. Like I say, depending on how the Ohio game go, maybe it won't be a waste of a season. We win that motherfucker. But other than that, go motherfucking blue.